Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a Christmas DIY video. We're gonna hop right into the projects. And this first one, I am using these MDF palettes from the Dollar Tree. So I am trying to recreate a tag and basically make like a standing tag from these pieces. So I am going to cut the top corners off with the miter saw to create that tag look. And then from there, I'm going to use the crackle medium from Dixie Belle, and I'm going to apply it to all three pieces. Now, if you haven't tried this crackle medium before, it's really easy to use and very similar to the glue method. So with this crackle medium, you're going to apply it onto your surface. You can do full coverage or you can go sporadic. I was kind of going for not full coverage on all three pieces, but I tried to make them all a little bit different. So with the crackle medium, you do have to let it sit until it's thoroughly dry. It does take several hours, but once it is dry, it will have like a nice glossy finish, and then you will apply the paint on top of it. And you want to do as minimal brush strokes as possible with the paint. And as the paint is drying, then you will get this wonderful crackle effect. And like I said, it is very similar to the glue method. If you have Elmer's glue, even Dollar Tree glue works perfect. So you can do the same exact thing if you don't have the crackle medium. And the heat will help intensify the crackle, but it is not necessary. Now remember, I have three of these that I am working on, so I'm just showing one at the moment here, but I'm doing the same thing for all of them. I am grabbing transfers from the new IOD Christmas release. I really have enjoyed working with these transfers this year. I love the variety that they have. So I just found three different ones that worked the best with the colors that I chose and that fit the size of this the best. To seal these up, I am using clear wax. I went back and forth if I wanted to use polyacrylic or not, which I normally use, but I really liked the matte look of the crackle effect with the transfers, so I wanted to keep with that, which is why I stuck with the clear wax. And then the only other thing that I really wanted to do to make this, really look like a tag was to add a hole at the top of all of them. So my husband actually did this for me. He just drilled a hole in the top of all of them based on the ribbon size that I wanted to use. And this ribbon I grabbed from Marshall's last year. I believe it was last year. And it's a velvet. It's really nice, and I loved crafting with it. You're probably supposed to use it for presents, but I've been using it for crafting. And I am just going to add different lengths to all three, and then these are done. I will be using this ornament mold from IOD for this project and for the next one, and I will be using the casting resin to create the molds for both projects. If you haven't used this casting resin yet, it is great. It only, takes about 10 minutes for it to harden up before you can pop it out and move on to your next round of ornaments, especially if you're making a lot of them. And the amazing casting resin is 2 parts, equal parts of A and B. So you just mix up the equal parts, stir it up really well, and then pour it in. So this was the end of the set that I had, so it didn't set up quite as well as I was hoping. I mean, it hardened perfectly fine, but there were some like yellow specks in it. So I'm using these for the other project. I did a new round of the amazing casting resin. I had a brand new box. I poured I used that new box instead for this project with the ornaments. So once those were set aside, I'm sharing here. I've had this sign from Hobby Lobby for years, and I had it in my guest room, and I am redoing my guest room, and I wanted to set this aside and use it for a project. So what I am going to do is trace out the shape of the, inside of the frame with some craft paper. So this holiday craft paper I actually got from Hobby Lobby last year. It's in like a booklet, but the craft stores have so many individual wonderful, pieces of holiday craft paper. So grab whatever, color scheme you are going for. I am making this for my house. This is not going into my booth. I'm going to adhere the craft paper to the back part of this frame with glue, and then I'm going to set that aside and start working on the ornaments. So off camera, I did paint the ornaments with white chalk paint, and then the top part I did have gold acrylic paint. I was trying to see if the flecks, those yellow flecks that I was talking about earlier, if they would, be covered up by the chalk paint. So I wasn't sure if it was going to work, which is why I didn't record it, but it did end up working. So I continued on working with these ornaments, and I just found some really cute small transfers from the new one of the new IOD sets. I can't remember which one this one is. It may be a mixture of a couple of them, but I just found 3 that I liked that fit the ornaments really well. And then I wanted to jazz this up just a little bit more because it was looking kind of plain. So I am sealing it first with Mod Podge, and then I decided to add just a little bit of glitter to them as well. So the Mod Podge again acts as a sealer to seal in the chalk paint as well as the transfer, but then while it's still wet, I'm going to add some of the glitter to add just a little bit of sparkle, and then move on to the next part. And then the last thing is just putting it all together. So I am going to be using hot glue to attach the ornaments to the back part of the frame. And then I'm adding them at different heights because my vision for this was to make it look like ornaments were hanging from the top of the frame. So the twine is going to go from the top of the ornament all the way underneath the top of the frame part of this. Don't worry if that doesn't make any sense. I'm going to show you right here what I am talking about. But this would work for any frame that you either find at the thrift store, or if you have something set aside, this would be a fun little project to add, a little bit of Christmas decor, to your space. This project, we have three more ornaments from that mold, and for this project, we're making ornaments, but you could also turn these into tags, and that's what I really like about the versatility of these molds right here, is because they would make really beautiful ornaments, but For a tag, it is super cute because the backside of these molds, when you use the casting resin, the backside is very smooth, so you can use a Sharpie to write, to or from, or whatever little note you would want to write if you're using a tag. So I really like that about these molds. The three colors that I chose are green, blue, and gold, and I am going to be painting the front and the back side of them. So once they are dry, then I'm going to be using Rub and Buff for the top part of the ornaments. Now, I have never used Rub and Buff before. I have been wanting to use it for so long, but I've just never tried it. I've tried other products before that I grabbed at craft stores, and they just really weren't what I was looking for. So the last time I went to the craft store, I saw that there was Rub and Buff, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a shot. And I don't know why I waited so long to use this Rub and Buff. Sorry, I just wanted to say that. I can't believe it took me that long. I love this Rub and Buff now, and I cannot wait to use it on more projects. So anyways, once I got that done with the Rub and Buff and everything is dry, I am going to add a hole to the top part of the ornament so that, you can use it A, as an ornament, or B, for a tag. And then to seal these ornaments up, I decided to use shellac on the front and back. I just really liked the sheen that it gave to these ornaments or tags. And then I just added some twine for them. And you have really cute ornaments or tags. I really like the idea of using these for tags, so I think I may do that instead of cards or something like that this year. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. For this project, this is super easy. So I have this frame, I've had it for a while. So if you've had a frame that you've had set aside that you really like and you just don't want to get rid of, or you find one at the thrift store, this is going to be a super easy project. So I'm keeping everything as it is for the frame, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a transfer. So there was this really pretty large Christmas tree at the back of that transfer set from IOD, and I really wanted to put it on something that I could have in my house, and I decided to use a frame because with this I can keep this frame up all year round and then just add other pictures to it, and then come Christmas time I can flip this one back. I can use this one again. So that's why I'm doing that for this project. So I'm just going to be cutting out the transfer to fit into this frame and or the mat, excuse me, and then I'm going to add the transfer to a really thick cardstock, and I'm not painting the cardstock, I'm just keeping it that dark brown. It really did not affect the transfer at all, like the image of it. So that is it for applying the transfer. And then I decided to just make it look a little more realistic, like it was a painting or something, by adding Mod Podge. So I have done this before on other media or surfaces or images, I should say. In the past I have printed pictures and done the Mod Podge method. I haven't done it on transfers before, so this is my first time doing that. So I am doing one layer of Mod Podge on the entire transfer. I'm going to let that dry, and then once it dries, I'm going to do a second layer of Mod Podge, but I'm going to be dabbing it up and down, and I'm really going to be focusing on the Christmas tree so that it has texture and a little bit of dimension to it. And then at certain angles, if you're looking at the picture, it'll look kind of like it has been painted. I really hope you all enjoyed today's video, and let me know your favorite in the comments. I do have a homemade gift video coming up, as well as another Christmas project video, so stay tuned. Hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.